to Letters from America, a road trip podcast searching for the Swedish heritage within the United States. I'm your host, Martin Warren, and today I've parked the Volvo in Ojai. And with me in the Airstream is Richard Sven SHELGREN. Welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Can we start there with the Sven part?
Yes.
Going back to why is there a Sven in the middle of that?
Yes, I grew up as the oldest of 5 children. My father's nickname growing up when he was a child was Swede. His grandfather was Olaf, and we had a great-grandfather named Niels, and we were all very proud of our Swedish heritage living in Buffalo. And I took the nickname Sven in honor of my father's Swede nickname, and used it in my career, in my film career, which was very attractive to people. They loved the name Sven. It's more unique than Richard, and people don't know many Svens usually.
Richard is more common, but you have a great knowledge of your family. You said your great-grandfather came here from Sweden.
From Sweden, yes. Yeah, my great-grandfather Niels was a cabinet maker, and he came to America, to Bradford, Pennsylvania, where he set up his business. My uncle, who was a preservationist and architect in Buffalo, and his, what would he be? He would be his grandson, is kind of the family historian. He passed away a few years ago, but he and I were very close, and he's given me all the family records. So we've gone back to Sweden. I've visited a couple of times.
You have?
I don't know exactly where our family homesteaded or where we were from, but I've attempted to trace it. Niels is the one we're certain of. He's my great-grandfather.
Niels is a difficult name to search in Sweden because that's very common.
Is it?
Yeah. Niels as a name, and Nilsson, like the Nilsson. I would say that's very common in Sweden. Where did you go in Sweden?
The first trip I took was during college, and we toured Stockholm and some of the countryside. We were basically touring all of Europe in search of the most exciting roller coasters that we could find as
really?
as immortal, not teenagers, but early 20s kids, college graduates.
When you think nothing can happen.
The more rickety and wooden and old it is, the better. Oh,
really? You did that?
Yes.
Oh, please tell me you found one in Sweden.
Yes, we did. I don't remember the name of that one. The one that sticks in my mind, unfortunately, is a little further south at Tivoli.
In Denmark,
but, yeah, you probably know of the roller coasters.
I don't know the name, but there's a big amusement park in Gothenburg called Liseberg, and there's a big one also in Stockholm. I think Liseberg is bigger actually, but there's a big one in Stockholm that's called Gröna Lund.
To be honest, my focus at that time, although we professed to be exploring roller coasters, my focus was on the tall, blonde female population of
Did
Sweden.
You find any? Because
I
feel that's a myth in a way, but did you find any?
It wasn't as promising, or it didn't deliver as much promise as I hoped.
Maybe we can kill that myth now, because Sweden or Scandinavia is not filled with long blonde hair, women with blue eyes. That's not the case.
I actually switched right over to roller coasters very quickly. Yeah. That was much more.
We're not all naked, and there's no polar bears walking in Stockholm. That's not.
No, the polar plunge, which we do in Minnesota, in the central part of America, is more naked.
Than we. No, I would say we were. Is the word prudish? Prudish?
Yeah.
I would
prudish,
say that. Yeah, I think Swedes are quite prudish in a way. But anyway, how did you like Sweden? Did you feel like part of me is coming home, or did you get that experience that ancestors have once left this old country?
I'm a historian buff, and I also believe somewhat in past lives and continuation of a soul's evolution, and I felt very connected to the Viking
Oh, you did?
kind of survivor mentality, and I've actually carried that forward through Boy Scouts and camping and survival skills in America. As the oldest of 5, I was always the one solving things and moving forward, and I felt very rooted in Sweden's ability to fight off invasion, to defend their
the Nordic
national,
spirit. In a way.
the national.
I think this is just speculation, obviously, but I think there's some truth to it because that wave of people leaving Sweden or the Nordic countries for America, like 1850 to 1910, 1920. I think we lost a lot of that mentality because the people who left were the ones with that conquering set of mind in a way. I'm not saying that, but I think there's a difference. I think that you can see that when you meet people here in America that they have that different mentality compared to what I think Sweden is. But then again, you must be open to also see that you always think, I mean, if you're from a country and looking at another country, you sort of have a prejudice against your own in a way. And you see, this country is amazing. And I can honestly say that the more I'm traveling here, I think the more Swedish I become, because there's something about leaving your country and
that makes you appreciate
talking about it also on a daily basis, and you just feel, Sweden, it ain't too bad place to be.
Yeah. Well, I'm very proud I'm very proud of my heritage, and the name Sven really focuses it for me.
Yeah.
I just feel embodied more than I am as Richard Eric, which is my given name.
Yeah, okay.
I feel like the connection to those hardy survivors who just set out to do what they needed to do to keep themselves safe and healthy and happy. And I know when my great-grandfather came here, he was starting fresh as a cabinet maker. He had a skill. He was able to market that. Bradford, Pennsylvania was a small western Pennsylvania community without a lot of industry. And he set up a carpentry shop. He fathered my grandfather and a couple of siblings, and they went on to become very successful architects, responsible for preservation in American buildings and historical buildings. And they lived in upstate Buffalo, which is where I was born. And I like to say, people say, "Oh, Sven, are you from Sweden?" I say, "No, Buffalo, which is right near Sweden." Meaning, of course, the same climate, the same more or less latitude, a little bit lower.
The same seasons.
The same seasons, yeah. So it's really part of my blood, and I'm very proud of it.
Do you know if that area that he came to in Pennsylvania, was that like a Swedish community that he came to? Because Pennsylvania, that area with Delaware south of it, that is an old Swedish neighborhood in a way, or colony.
I'm sure that it is. I remember when I was very small in Buffalo. We left Buffalo when I was about 6, and we moved to Massachusetts, and then down where my father worked in New York City, so we lived in New Jersey, and then down to Maryland. But Bradford, we had some distant relatives in Bradford when I was very little. I don't have memories of them specifically, but I'm sure there was a community there. And since then, I've spent more time in the Midwest, in Wisconsin, Minnesota area, and there's definitely a connection of Scandinavian worlds there. But I love history. I love the connection to those ancestors, and I feel like in my dream world and in my story creation world as a filmmaker that's part of my heritage. That's real. It's not just imaginary. I'm not a superhero, but I am connected to a race of people who set out and accomplished things.
Yeah,
so.
And that in a way, that's what this journey is about, to find that heritage. You mentioned film. You gave me a T-shirt. I can't even pronounce the name. Ojai.
Ojai.
That was a bug. Ojai Film Festival.
Yes.
It's close to your heart.
Yes. We are. Ojai is a small valley north of LA. It's closer to Santa Barbara, but it's a very verdant. What's the word? It's got the best agricultural ground and soil and support for produce. And
here in this valley.
In this valley,
okay.
and we have been a spiritually based community, starting from Krishnamurti's time and Annie Besant, who started the Teachers Association.
But what do you mean by spiritual community?
Krishnamurti was a leader. There's other movements, Theosophy, and Crotona. I mean, there are many organizations have come here for some sort of vibe that's in the ground. The Chumash originally settled this valley, and
that's the natives.
Yeah, the native indigenous American Indians, the Chumash tribe, named the valley Ojai, which in their language means the nest, and it's meant to be a gathering for creativity and for growth and for health.
Oh, right.
So there are many wellness practitioners here. Many people come here to meditate. A lot of celebrities from LA in the film and other industries come up to Ojai to escape the media attention, and we're a private community that's embracing kindness and love for everyone. There are all elements here. There are extremists on every level who still connect in some ways. It's not all alienation the way the rest of the world can seem to be at times, but we have a supportive community that is creative, that's musical, that's surrounds itself with the arts, with pottery, with just being appreciative of the earth and the gifts of the planet, rather than being so destructive.
But you mentioned LA, you mentioned movie people, and we're in California. We're 1 hour away from Hollywood in a way.
74 miles.
74 miles, yeah. Depending on how fast you're driving.
Right.
Known for all these productions, all these movies, and you're also a part of that.
Yeah, I came from the East Coast, New York film world. That was my first exposure to film production. I went to Columbia University. I studied in Paris at the Cinémathèque Française before I went to Columbia School of the Arts in a master's program. But I ended up coming to LA and living and working in Hollywood. My current partner, Bonnie's family, owned a property rental company, and I helped manage that. But I also produced. I created and produced commercials and videos and a few feature films. And I'm currently here in Ojai, still working as a producer and a writer, and also as president of the Ojai Film Festival.
Exactly, this one.
Which is your shirt,
yeah.
Yes. I came upon it in its 21st year. It's now in its 26th year. And it's globally recognized as one of the more spiritually based, hard to get into festivals. That's an honor for filmmakers. We typically have about 400 films submitted, and they come from 35 to 40 countries usually.
And how many do you select?
We usually show between 60 and 75 films in a 4-day festival in November. We usually we have about a dozen award categories, and anyone who's even just selected to be part of our festival presentation, those 60 films, is honored and gets laurels to put on their film, which helps them gain credibility. And the festival itself is a breeding ground for filmmakers who come to the festival in November, when we gather and show all these 75 or 60 films, and they connect with each other, and they network, and they share themes, they share techniques, but really they share a kindness of, we're all in the same boat trying to raise funds to do more films.
Because that's I'm curious about that, and I think because the world is changing, especially when it comes to movies or music or all that business that sort of has Los Angeles as its heart, the hub of creativity. And how's Hollywood doing? What's happening? Yeah,
Hollywood's struggling right now. The world of streaming exposure of content that used to be gate kept at theaters where they could charge a fixed admission, and that's the only place a film could be seen. Now it can be streamed. It's easier to find ways to view it that have different monetization, and not to say there's still some monetary collection from streaming, but it's more negotiable. You can find ways to have your product shown on YouTube or shown in private web exposure, and there are many people who are finding new ways to raise visibility and use social media to expand, which Hollywood is not appearing to catch up to as fast. They're trying the same mechanism, but they're not attracting the same audience share that they used to have.
But as you're a part of a film festival also, and you have a history in this business, been working from what I understand, major part of your life in this industry, and the changes are coming quite quickly now. But in a way, it's to be surprised about it. In a way, it's kind of then you didn't pay attention in a way because this was coming and it's been coming for a while. But now the sort of effect of it is also catching on because even on the receiver part, we can see that. Too much consumption maybe, or too much focus on the streaming or binge watching or watching everything on your phone has consequences as well.
Yes.
But on a creative level, because you're also a writer, you produce stuff. So the setup that we have today, which is sort of escalating into AI or wherever we don't know where it's going, but how does that affect your work, and how does that affect the mentality of a hub like Hollywood or Los Angeles or Ojai?
I think what it does is it opens opportunities to people who have creative imagination, who also understand some aspect of the business that they can attempt to negotiate with and make work for them. It creates opportunities for independent creatives to find a way, whether it's just using simple technology of a cell phone and a computer editing, or whether it's gathering a group of 10 or 50 or 100 collaborators who are part of the team that puts this together. In the old days, Hollywood used to be dependent on that large-scale production and large-scale lighting because the film wasn't as sensitive as the media is now. There's a lot less needed behind the scenes to illuminate and to pull off special effects, which can be done in the computer very easily. So
also I don't know this, but the impression I got in the old days of Hollywood, it was much more closed.
Yes.
Nobody came in if you weren't invited by 3 people.
Well, not only that, but you had to apprentice.
Yeah.
In the old days, there's nepotism in Hollywood as well as any business, but you either had to know someone or have a family member get you through the first doorway to get you on set, or you had to spend 5 years at a camera rental house, and then 5 years as a second assistant cameraman, and then 5 years as an operator before you got to be a director of photography. And nowadays, if you come out of some sort of personal education where you've gone to maybe a year of art school, or you've just made films yourself and gotten feedback from people, you can accelerate that whole 15-year learning apprenticeship to be able to create an opportunity for yourself on the highest level. And there are people in the Hollywood awards arena that have come very quickly, some of whom we see and we honor in the Ojai Film Festival. Chloe Zhao is a great example. She lived in Ojai. She did a couple of movies that were very, very powerful that she produced for, I think, less than $100,000 total. And she was our distinguished artist 3 years ago. She had just finished Nomadland. She was preparing...
It's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, she was preparing The Eternals, which is a Marvel movie. And at that point, she was a Hollywood outsider. She had not gone through the system.
All right.
Her boyfriend was her director of photography. She had a 6 or 7, ostensibly. I was not on her sets, but she had a very small crew. And those initial movies that she was shooting were very, very lean budget-wise, but very creative, very thoughtful, very full of character and emotion and empathy for the human condition and for women and for the opportunities of the disadvantaged.
Yeah, I can see the same thing when you look at the tools that you can. There's so many opportunities, almost too much in a way, but that also means that you can, like you're describing now, it opens up for a way of finding a solution.
Right.
The downside of that you can do it today is that everybody's doing it. So the sort of noise is a bit higher in a way, but you can still do it.
The opportunities are there.
Yeah.
And I think, there's certain benefits of a celebrity can help raise the profile. But a really good, strong performance from an unknown actor can do its own version of raising the profile, which can become viral and very successful in helping your film be seen. More eyeballs, more butts and seats.
Exactly what you said right now is if I'm going to look at the crystal ball and what's happening in the future with all these tools that's happening is authenticity. Is that the word? Authenticity. And you need to sort of break through the noise with that. What was that? That little bit of bump.
And that's part of the beauty of a festival like ours. The Ojai Film Festival can feature films and projects and passion projects, dreams that people have had to make a short film or a low budget feature film that has some sort of magic that they've captured, that they've imagined, and it's come out of their upbringing, their roots, and their dream cycles or whatever.
That's a beautiful thing in a way.
It is,
but it's also like everything. It's a balance. Not all inventions that we have are good things. There are a lot of the inventions and a lot of the programming and are tryouts in a way.
Yes,
it doesn't mean that we have to use them.
Right.
So there's a balance to see how can we keep the heart of it, the creative heart.
Yes.
Or whatever.
There's bumps in the road for sure on any creative path like that.
Yeah.
What's beautiful in the Ojai world and in the world of what we want our festival to carry forward is support for taking chances, support for risking and being okay with failure, with the learning process of gaining something because it didn't work out the way you thought, but you've got some sort of twist or benefit that you can make more productive going forward. We support that. Ojai is filled with that kind of grace, as it were, in helping people take chances
and also I think
be themselves.
Being comfortable accepting failure, like you said, but also define success.
Yes,
I think that's for me. That's on a personal note. I find that very important to not accept others' definition of success on me, which is very easy to do.
Yes,
I need to be as successful.
Yes, and there's a lot of individuals here that have their own criteria, and we celebrate that. So,
one final thing. You're from, this map is the United States. Buffalo is somewhere around here.
Right here on the Erie River,
right
on the Erie, Lake Erie.
And right now we're above Los Angeles, over there.
Yes.
Where is home?
Home somewhere up here.
Okay.
Home somewhere in a spirit world that actually fills this whole thing. But Buffalo, I was close to my uncle until he died a few years ago, and I went back regularly to see him. I am very rooted in Buffalo, and at the same time, Ojai was my dream of a valley. I dreamed of being in a valley that I could retire in and be creative in until my breath failed. And
But if you had to pick one,
if I had to pick one,
just for today,
Big Sir probably is also
Sir.
on the list.
Can you write your signature there?
But sure. At Big Sir?
Yeah, wherever you feel like. Today, I feel that home is there.
Okay.
It's not supposed to be a final answer.
Okay. That's the west coast of California.
Yeah.
But that's Ojai. Ojai is my home.
Yeah.
Ojai is my home.
So if you were to write a letter from home today to where you came from, what would that be?
It would be filled with gratitude and kindness for the way I was nourished and embraced growing up, because I had a very supportive family. We did not come from wealth, but we came from a closeness and an emotional connection, with being the oldest of 5 siblings, with 2 parents who were very dedicated to the family. They ended up divorcing later in life when we were all grown, and found happiness, each of them in their own way. But the letter that I am filled with, that I constantly still bring to my creativity, is a sense of kindness and gratitude for the possibility of doing something that's healing, that's embracing of all, that's filled with inclusion rather than any kind of competition or superiority. And I don't know that Niels, my great-grandfather, brought that from Sweden, but somehow I've connected with it.
Let's pretend that he did.
And his
for the sake of this moment,
yes.
let's pretend that he did.
Because I didn't know him. I never met him personally. I only hesitate to identify that, but it's true in my heart for me that's has a lot to do with my happiness and my productivity on the planet. Which,
do you ever struggle with sort of achieving that?
Yes, I mean, I think every twist in my career has brought some trepidation, some fear that this couldn't be right. My Achilles heel has been that I've stayed in comfortable jobs too long.
Oh yeah. When
I could have been ready to move on to the next step, and I could have accelerated probably by 60% faster than I was going. But the fact is,
I wouldn't say that Achilles heel. I mean, that's very human to stay until you sort of make the leap forward.
But the progression for me has been both conscious and accidental, and I've embraced the opportunities, and I've been very lucky to work with directors and projects that mentored me, who had kindness, who had love and collaboration in their heart, not just dictator like, I'm telling you the way this is going to go. No, we're all able to be part of the process.
Isn't the accidents the most creative?
Absolutely.
Things that happens that you weren't expecting.
Absolutely. As a producer, and part of the cross I bear is that I was a math person, and then I was my grandfather's architect influence and my math background. So right and left brain are constantly active in my head. But as a producer, you want all these great checklists and to-do lists, but it's the things that weren't on the checklist that actually turn out to be the most fun and the most beneficial in the end. So I keep making those lists and looking at them and working through them, but I'm also open to embrace every opportunity. Yeah. And Ojai provides for that.
So this is the place to be for creativity.
It is the place to be for creativity and support and nourishment and for bonding with your fellow similar and dissimilar collaborations, that you can connect with people that have a very different view here, and you can also be surrounded by people who are like-minded in a way to move a project somewhere that you didn't imagine. 2 + 2 here is often 5 or 7 or 14 instead of just being 2 plus 2 is 4 or 3 or 2 or 1 is even worse. But
2 plus 2 could be anything.
It could be anything here, yes.
Thank you, Richard, or Sven. Yes. It was a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming into my trailer.
I'm honored to be part of your project. And
thank you.
I celebrate Sweden in every way.
You want to show me that? You've hidden something there.
Oh, I could show you, yes. My...
Your Sverige.
Yes.
Did you get that in Sweden?
Yeah, I got it in Sweden, and I actually don't know how to properly pronounce it.
No.
But
Sverige.
When I first described it to you, you had no idea what I was talking about. Sverige.
Sverige. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
It was a pleasure.
You're welcome.
You have listened to Letters from America, a weekly road trip podcast celebrating the Swedish heritage in the United States. Produced in collaboration with the Embassy of Sweden in Washington, D.C., Volvo Cars USA, Volvo Trucks USA, and Airstream.